laundry's done. Hey guys, it's been so long since I've actually sat in front of the camera like this and even updated here on this channel. Yeah, there's a lot that has changed, and I think the last real video that I posted was about like the wedding things, and now we've been like married for a year and a half. And as you can see from the title, this is going to be about my birth story. So I did give birth to my second girl, and we're just so thrilled that she's here with us, and it's just been amazing. Life has been just amazing, so I'm very grateful for all the blessings, and I definitely wanted to share it here, even for me to just document as well and talk about my birth story, because I think this story is just so important to share, and it's just something that I really wanted to talk about. She is actually here, right here, so if you do hear little baby coos or her sucking on her pacifier, she might be actually just putting herself to sleep right now. Hopefully she can sleep while I'm talking, but she's just in arm's reach right now. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I do have another older daughter, and she just turned 8 in December, and I had her when I was 25. And that was like, you know, the first time mom experience, first time birth experience. And I do have my video on that birth story. I have it linked down below if you want to watch that too. But when I look back on that birth story, I really like sugar-coated it, I would say. Back then I think I didn't share or wasn't as transparent. So that birth story was a little different. Actually was almost like the polar opposite of this birth story, but I'm really just reflecting on that birth, and I'm talking about that because that is a big reason why I had this birth experience the way I wanted it, because of my previous birth experience. Just kind of reflecting on how that went, how that affected me, and how I wanted things to be different. So before actually talking about my birth story, like that day and what led up to it, a big part of my birth story is how I prepared for it. Like, I wanted to be as prepared as I could be, as educated as I could be, and use all the resources that were available to me, because that is something I didn't do with my first, and I just kind of learned along the way. And even though I'm already a mom to a 7-year-old at this time, I feel like there's so much more I could learn for taking care of a newborn, and also just taking care of myself in this whole birth experience. I read the books, I read all the forums on my apps for questions and everything, and of course just Googled a bunch of things, and I wanted to just be prepared for what I needed for this birth. So one of the main things that was different in this birth experience that made all the difference was having a supportive and present birth partner. It made all the difference having my husband with me throughout everything, the pregnancy and the birth, and also he thought it was very important to be educated as well, so we went through it together, and that just made all the difference. Yeah, baby. Come here. I'm right here. That made all the difference, having my husband along the journey with me in preparing for birth, preparing for the newborn experience, and just listening to my needs, like emotionally as well, just made all the difference in this whole pregnancy birth experience. And the book that I highly recommend is The Birth Partner. I went through that whole entire book. I marked it up like crazy. I put tabs everywhere for me to refer to, for my husband to refer to, and to physically have there with me when we're in the hospital as well when I'm giving birth, and just be really well educated in things like my preferences, my pain tolerance, all the things that could happen, how to deal with it, like all of the choices and options you have, and how to respond to pretty much anything that could happen in that birth experience. So that is something that I felt really prepared for and really took my time in educating myself on. And then the second difference that made all the difference was having a birth doula. So this is something that you could hire. I just felt like this is what I really needed, and again, it's another resource that I could not pass up. And so we went and interviewed some doulas. We found the perfect one, and she was just amazing the whole time. So she really focused on like my emotional needs, what was really important to me in this birth experience, as well as like how things could come up, things could be uprooted during my birth experience related to my previous traumatic birth experience, and just everything that went along with that previous birth, and how I could use this one to just be like my redemption, for it to be how I want it to be, for it to be just an experience that I had more control over, and then I could really be in the moment and enjoy. And that was basically what I needed the most out of this birth experience, was to be present, was to be able to make educated, informed decisions, and to just enjoy this experience, because the first one was very just out of my control and unexpected. So this one I really wanted to control as much as I could, you know, and that just made all the difference having her. We did a few meetings before, we had a lot of talks. She was pretty much like my birth therapist. She was very informed, and I just felt so comfortable knowing that I had another person that was going to be in the delivery room who knew my needs and my preferences, to just be my other supportive birth partner along with my husband. But I would say I had a mild pregnancy. I had like not too many bad symptoms in the beginning, but it was toward the end where a lot of things like compiled. I had a lot of aches, I had carpal tunnel, I had gestational diabetes, I had a hard time sleeping toward the end. So I was just really suffering toward like the end of my pregnancy. And I also ended up getting high blood pressure at my 38-week checkup, and that is what ultimately led into my induction. So I did get induced with Pitocin, and it was done at my 38-week mark, and baby was already head down from like my 36-week appointment, so she was ready. So when I did go to my appointment, I was 4 centimeters dilated, and I was having contractions every 4 minutes, which I wasn't really feeling. I felt some tightness, but it wasn't anything uncomfortable. They took my blood pressure like 3 times because they were so surprised that my blood pressure was high, because I've never had that before at any of my other appointments or any concerns for my blood pressure. So this was something new and different, and the doctor, my OB, actually just made the call like, your cervix is ready and ripe for birth and you have this high blood pressure going on. I think it's good we just get you induced today. So from that appointment, which I went to by myself, they walked me over to labor and delivery, into triage, and that's when I called my husband, let him know what's going on to get everything ready. So my appointment was at 9 o'clock, and then I got into triage about 11 o'clock, and there I was just monitored, checking baby's heart rate, my heart rate, and then yeah, they were saying, yeah, my contractions were every 4 minutes. They're like, do you feel that? And I said, no, I don't feel like anything. And he said, okay, I'm gonna check with our on-call doctor, delivery doctor, to see if we can get you in today. So then he came back and he's like, thumbs up, we got you in. Our on-call doctor is this one doctor that I really wanted to be my OB, but she wasn't available, and she happened to be the on-call doctor that day. So I was really excited that she was going to be my doctor that was going to deliver my baby that day. And I was just so excited because I'm like, this is just so meant to be. And I was just really elated that that was the scenario. So I stayed in there for a little bit until they got my room ready. And this delivery room, I'm telling you guys, I was really, really excited for my birth experience because of the birth suite that was available at the hospital, and that I wanted to really utilize all of the amenities that were there. And it is just a beautiful suite, and I was just so excited to get settled in and to kind of get everything ready. So one of the really important things to me was setting like the mood for my birth experience, which included like music, which I made like a birthing playlist, which was just a lot of relaxing songs, some worship songs, and just songs that to kind of like relax me and just, you know, to get me present in the moment. And also just like the lighting, I brought some like twinkle lights. I asked like for the lights to be dim when I'm just laboring, and just for it to be the mood that I want it to be. I got changed into my very own gown, which I really wanted to do is just be comfortable, and I got a really cute gown which I really loved. It had all the buttons and all the openings I needed, and had to get my IV put in. Fortunately, they could not get my IV the first time or the second time, but the third time, and that left this right arm severely bruised and very sore. So I was really kind of like hurting. I was tearing because of my IVs, not because of my contractions, because they were very sore. So they got one here finally, and I was like, okay, we got past that. I had to actually put ice packs on my arms, and I was able to still have the monitors on me and move around, and also move around with my little IV drip. So they did start my Pitocin, which basically just speeds up your labor, and they had just started with a low dose, and they put it up to every half an hour or so, just to see how I respond to it. And so I was like on the birthing ball, I was walking around. I really wanted something to eat because I haven't eaten, so I was put on a liquid diet. So I had like some of those little popsicle things. I had vegetable broth, juice, water. I had brought my own snacks, which I couldn't have yet because those were solid food. So I just had whatever liquid food I could have. I wanted it all, just so I can have enough energy for the birth. So by this time, I think it was like almost like 1 o'clock that like we were admitted and settled in, and my husband and we just kind of took it all in. We took a lot of photos. I wanted to get the beautiful backdrop we had from our room. It was fall time, it was November 8th, so the trees were just like beautiful orange color with the changing leaves, and it was also like a clear day, so it was really beautiful. And I was just looking outside and just really just taking it all in, that like today's the day, baby's gonna come. We're here in the birth suite. And I also brought my Polaroid camera, so we're taking some Polaroids that we could have just for memories. And it was nice to just settle in and to just enjoy this experience, just my husband and I, before baby came. The nurse kept coming in, putting up my Pitocin, being like, how's your pain level on the pain scale? And I was really not feeling any pain. I was like 2 or 3. I'm really not feeling any discomfort, which was concerning to the nurse because she wants me to progress, right? She wants me to tell her like, I'm feeling the contractions, it's moving along. But it wasn't. My birth preference was, I wanted the epidural, but I wanted to continue laboring as much as I could until I couldn't stand the pain, and then get an epidural. That was my plan. I had it on my paper, they had it on the board, epidural, but I really wanted to go through the labor. Like, I wanted to feel the contractions and breathe through it until it was too much. So yeah, just keep that in mind, that I did want the epidural. So my water wasn't broken at all, and my labor wasn't progressing as fast as they would like. Hence, they kept putting up my Pitocin and asking me how I was feeling. And then the doctor came and let me know like, okay, we're gonna break your water, and that will really like jumpstart everything. Like, it'll jumpstart, kickstart everything. And then the doctor said my water bag was really hard to break. She was really in there trying to break my water bag, and at the same time for my IV, it was like burning. I think it was like the end of the IV bag for the Pitocin, and I was just complaining that my arm was on fire. It was really burning, and they said it could be really hard on your veins, so that's like what was happening. And I remember that happening before in my first birth experience and never being told what it was, so I didn't know what was happening the first one. So when it happened again, I was really like, help, my arm is burning, like I need this to stop now, because the pain of it was so intense that I was just crying. Like, contractions didn't make me cry, but my IV and like my drip were making me cry. So I basically asked for ice packs right away because I knew that helped the last time. It was like really excruciating pain that I wasn't even focused on them watering. I wasn't even focused on them breaking my water bag because this was hurting so much. And I was just crying, and then just waiting for the pain to go away, and it finally went away. But they did break my water bag, and I just felt this really warm sensation down there, like a warm gush, and then I'm like, oh wow, like that's how it feels when your water breaks. So from then on, I was able to kind of go back to laboring how I wanted to, moving around, knowing that my water was broken, and that really helped just put baby down and help just progress the labor. So by that time we were talking to our doula, we were figuring out a time for her to come because she's about an hour away, and then she came right when my contractions were starting to be a little more uncomfortable, to where I was really focusing and I couldn't really speak through the contraction and kind of going through like the motion. And then she had told me that she had a feeling that I would progress so quickly maybe in my labor that I would just go through it naturally and not have time for the epidural. And she asked me, how would you feel if that were to happen? And I think she was kind of putting that idea in my head to just prepare me, to just really have me think about it and to give an answer. And I said, I think honestly I am feeling good. I'm feeling good with how I'm doing, how I'm progressing. So I was kind of like, I don't know, if it does happen, it does happen, but I'm not so hard set, like give me an epidural now because I'm so afraid. Because before I said I'm really afraid of giving birth without it, but when I was in the moment, I felt really good about how I was doing, and I wasn't ready to get the epidural yet. So it came like a time where I'm like, okay, there is a jacuzzi tub in this birthing suite, which is amazing, that I could use, that I was set on using. Like I really want to use this amenity, and I think just the water would feel great. I feel like that'd be so great for my pain management. Let's do it. But I knew kind of when I decided to go into the birth tub, was not, well, the jacuzzi tub, you can't give birth in there, the jacuzzi tub, that there may be a risk that I could not get my epidural in time. But I wasn't feeling like uncomfortable. I was feeling like I could do it. So I went ahead, asked the nurse to get the tub ready. She got there with like jets. It was so nice. I could keep my monitors on. So I went in there. I just had like my little sports bra on, and I was just relaxed. They had a little difficulty keeping my monitor on. So for kind of like 20 minutes, the nurse was playing with it. And at that time I felt my contractions getting a little closer together, but at the same time I'm like trying to breathe through it, letting the water really do its thing. And I had the jets, you know, just helping with my pain. And I finally got into a good position. I think it was kind of like this on the tub, where the monitors were staying in place and I could relax. And then I was kind of like leaning back and letting the water do its thing, and I felt really good. They started to dim the lights, and my husband brought my speaker next to me, and I was listening to my worship music, and it just felt so good. And then I felt my contractions kind of getting more tense. You know, I wasn't speaking through them. I was really focusing. I was holding the little comb in my hand to help with the contraction. And then I was like, okay, I told my doula, I don't think I can go through another contraction. I was just feeling it. I don't think I can go through another contraction. I'm ready to come out of the tub. So the nurse was like, okay, let me help you up. I stood up, had a contraction, And I remember just holding onto the bar as tight as I can because this contraction was so tough. It was a strong contraction. So it just stopped me in my tracks and I had to breathe. I told her, wait, I'm having contraction. She's okay. Breathe through it. Okay. And then I stepped out of the tub, another contraction, just seconds later. And then I was just stuck. I felt like I was like shaking and I couldn't move. And then I just felt all this pressure, and then I told everybody, the nurse, the doula, I'm like, I have to push. I have to push. I had the strongest urge to push, and I recognized this pain from my last delivery was the urge to push. And I remember just like, I don't even know if I could like walk to the bed, and they're like, don't push, get to the bed. So I quickly went to the bed. I'm like, I just lie down. They're like, yep. And then my doula helped me. They kind of took my birth gown and just threw it over the top of me because there's no time for me to get back in it. And then quickly called the other nurses that were needed, and the doctor, of course. And then boom, all of the lights went on, like the little spotlight up here. Everyone just came to my bed. They had set everything up. The doctor came, did my cervical check, and was like, you're a 9.5. I knew it. Like, you're a 9.5. In my opinion, there's no time for the epidural. We can't give you the epidural. And I just said, it's okay, it's okay. That's what I said. I remember being, it's okay, because I wasn't scared. I wasn't scared anymore. I was just ready. I was just ready to push. I had made the decision that got me here, and there was no way I could sit still through an epidural now. It was just time to go. So I'm like, we're here, let's go. Let's do it. My first birth, I had the epidural where I pushed and didn't feel as much pain, honestly. This one was a whole nother level of pain. That the only way you could get through a contraction was to push through it. And then it took a couple rounds to really understand like how I needed to push. And my doula had like trained me in it. So I really learned how to push like from the bottom, basically what she's saying, push from the bottom, and to push for a 10-second count 3 times per contraction, and for those pushes to build on each other. Like, you have to keep doing it so you keep pushing baby out. And I was pushing for about 45 minutes, and about the time that I was pushing was right before 7 o'clock, like 6:45ish, I think. Isn't that right? Yeah. So it took me from like 1 to 6:45ish to get from like 4 centimeters no pain to like 9.5 full-blown contractions, no epidural. So I was just going through it. The nurse was helping me count to 10, which was really helpful for holding the contraction. My doula was coaching me. She was like, that was such a good push. Also, the doctor was like, yes, like, you're doing it. And it just helped me get through it. My husband was right next to me. He was helping me, just saying I'm doing a good job. He was feeding me ice chips in between my contractions and holding like the pillow so I could like kind of scrunch forward while I was pushing. And in between my contractions, I tried to relax as much as I could because I knew another one was gonna come in the next like 10 seconds. So I was able to just relax as much as I can, regather some strength, and my husband would like feed me ice chips and I would just kind of chew it and kind of talk, and then boom, I would just tell everyone okay, and they would know that the contraction is coming. And the nurses and my doula would like hold my legs up, Mitchell would push my head forward, and I would push as much as I could. So it was kind of just all a team effort, and I did that for 45 minutes. And then when it came to the end, you know, where she was ready to come out, the doctor said like, okay, Nikki, like, don't push yet. And she told me, this is like the ring of fire, right? We've heard about it. Like, this is the ring of fire. So I just knew like, yes, I'm getting there. I'm getting toward the end. And I was like, I just said, okay. A lot of times I'm like, okay. even through some of my contractions, if they were longer, I pushed 4 times. I told them I can still push, and they'd help me keep pushing through it because I wanted to like be as efficient as I could and like use the contraction to get her down and out as fast as I could because the pain was so much. And so she told me about the Ring of Fire, and I pushed, and I really don't remember it being any different from my other pushes. I don't remember how it felt when she came out. I don't remember how that felt when she came out. I just remember my eyes were still closed, and I didn't know that she was like fully out. Of course I felt relief when she came out, but I didn't even open my eyes yet. And then the doctor told me, open your eyes, open your eyes. And she was there, and they put her on me, and I was just like elated that I did it, that she was here, that pushing was done, and that I had done it. So they were just doing everything down there. They're okay, Nikki, I need you to do just like one more big push, kind of push the placenta out, and then they were kind of just pushing on my abdomen to just get anything else out to help detach it and everything. And I just had baby on me, and I was just trying to, you know, just soak in everything. I was holding her hands, I was trying to look in her eyes. My husband was just like looking at her, and I was like, oh my god, we did it.
I lose my breath whenever I see you. You stole my heart, what is it that you do? My life was great till you added colors. Like the moon needs the sun, we don't care about the others. You set my world on fire. You're my heart's desire. I just wanna love you, just wanna hold you, just wanna be with you till we grow old. Please tell me you'll stay or take me.
Camille, talk. Say hi.
She's good, honey. She's good, she's here.
You wanna say hi? Say hi. Talk to her. Oh my gosh. See you soon.
Don't know what I do without you.
And I just got to soak in having baby on me, which was amazing because I didn't get that with my first birth experience. My first daughter was born premature, so she was quickly taken to the NICU. I got to kind of give her a little kiss before she was taken to the NICU, so I didn't have that time, that like skin to skin time with her. So that is something that I got to experience with this that was just so beautiful, that she could just be put on me and she was healthy. I needed to have a couple stitches, which were not perennial stitches but labial stitches. So she was doing that. She let me know like when she was doing it, and then everything was being done down there. And she was 6 pounds, about 6.5 pounds. And when they told me, I was like, wow, like you're telling me that I just gave birth to like a 6.5 pound full baby? That is insane. Our doula also took so many photos when baby was on me, and just like our first encounter with her for me and my husband, and it was just so beautiful to have that all captured. And I was just so glad to have her there with us. Even just having her presence was everything to me too. I just felt so supported. She stayed there with us for like the first hour. She also helped me get baby to breast, and baby did latch. I was just so excited for that because I didn't get to breastfeed at all with my first, so having healthy baby come and latch was like so beautiful. I stayed in the hospital for a couple of nights. Baby was well, her blood sugar was fine because I did have gestational diabetes as well as mine. They're just monitoring my blood pressure, and baby got, you know, tested for her hearing sight, Her bilirubin was a little high, which was treated like the first few days. She got a lot better. That's not a concern anymore. So she was perfect. We were so excited to have her with us, and here. This birth experience was just a great way for me to feel like I have redemption in my birth experience, and compared to my first birth experience, while it gave me such a beautiful daughter, so blessed for her health and everything that she went through in the NICU, her and I, and having our second baby girl was just so beautiful. And now that we're at 12 weeks, she is still very, very healthy, very happy baby. Camille, big sister, is just the best big sister. She was so excited when we told her. And yeah, let me bring her over here so you can see her. There's a big bright light in your face. Hello. Hi. Hi everybody. This is your first time on the channel. Did you know mommy has a YouTube channel? So this is baby Naomi. This is her. This is a sweet girl. Her name is Naomi Jaira. Naomi Jaira Range. 2 middle names. Naomi Jaira Range. I was just talking about how you came into this world. Maybe one day you can watch this video and see mommy talking about you and your birth and how you were at 12 weeks, huh? Healthy, happy baby. Show them your feet. Show them your toes. Show them your toes. So that was my birth experience. I hope you guys enjoyed this little sit down and chat with me style. And I'm just so happy I'm able to kind of just share everything that I went through, how I prepared for it, and just what it all meant to me. So I'm so excited to finally share it with you guys. I do share a lot more on my Instagram because it's easier for me to kind of share content and like update you on like my daily routine or what I'm up to. So it's much easier for me to kind of post on there. So if you do want to follow along, it's made Simply Nikki on Instagram, and feel free to just also subscribe to this channel. I will be kind of revamping the channel as well as my blog, where I want to share more like mommy things now and just like the new chapter in my life. And thank you guys so much for just following me in my journey and everything that life has to offer. I'm so happy. And Naomi also thanks you for supporting mommy's channel. Goodbye everyone. Bye bye.